Hello fellow train enthusiasts, and welcome to a Railfanning video on the Pennsylvania 421 channel. 2025 is officially over, and with it the 2025 Railfanning season. A lot of good stuff happened in 2025 for Railfanning for me, and I'm excited to see what 2026 has in store. However, it's not quite time to usher in a 2026 on my channel. I managed to squeeze in one more Railfanning trip before the end of 2025. Let's return to last year, when my friend and I went down to Minot on December 21st, the winter solstice. The first train of the day was the morning Amtrak Empire Builder. We caught it first at Norwich, just outside of Surrey, North Dakota. I chose this spot because I like how the elevator in the background and the frozen pond in the foreground look. This morning, the Empire Builder was led by 3 Siemens Chargers. This is the first time I've seen it with more than 2, so that is a nice surprise. The builder was about half an hour late leaving the station. We caught it next as it rolled under the Highway 2 overpass. This is the new location I found, and I'll talk about it more later. On our way back to the station, we spotted this westbound intermodal approaching and turned off the Burdick onto the approach for an abandoned crossing to watch it pass. Eagle-eyed viewers may have spotted the second train in view as the intermodal was approaching. That train was sitting over the diamond, so my friend and I were sitting at the library parking lot thinking it would be going soon. Instead, this local featuring an SD60M raced past and caught us completely off guard. My friend and I both took a video at the station. This is mine. Because it had an SD60M, we chased the train up to the Railston crossing to watch it pass there. Upon returning to Minot, my friend and I took a pit stop at Taco Bell for some food before returning to the tracks on time to see this interchange rolling past. The cool thing about CPKC's interchange with BNSF in Minot is that they use old Sioux Line Cabooses as shoving platforms. As the interchange train slowly crept on the BNSF track, this quadruple-headed intermodal raced past on the opposite line. About 20 to 30 minutes after the intermodal had passed, the interchange began pushing back towards Gavin Yard. Power on this interchange was two BNSF GE 6-axles instead of the usual CPKC SD30s. I believe this is because one of the two SD30s was temporarily absent, so BNSF sent some of their locomotives for it. I could be wrong though. Following the interchange, the grainer that had been sitting across the diamond earlier rolled past, so my friend and I drove back to the location we saw the Amtrak at earlier. I call it the Outlook. It is a parking lot for a senior living center that provides a commanding view of BNSF's Glasgow sub as it passes underneath the Highway 2 overpass and moves west towards the Gasman Cooley Trestle. It is one of the best locations I've found for railfanning in Minot. The DPU on this grainer was an SD70 Ace. We've been seeing quite a lot of Aces on grain trains recently. The next train is a grainer crossing the Gasman Cooley Trestle. I took this video from quite a bit further back than most of my others, and I think it turned out better since I could get more of the bridge into shot. Quite a while later, we returned to the Outlook to watch this eastbound grainer. This one is going downhill, so it is traveling a decent bit faster. The first CPKC train of the day was this westbound with the DPU uncommonly close to the leader. After that, we drove to the CPKC yard to see what is going on there, and briefly watched this local unit putting together a consist before driving over to BNSF Gavin yard to see what is up there. As we were leaving the vicinity of Gavin yard, we spotted this BNSF auto train approaching, and my friend recorded at the window as we drove by it. After we returned to our usual area, we watched this CPKC auto train intermodal mix from across the tracks from the old Sioux station in the downtown district. The solstice was quite the day for BNSF grain trains, as we saw yet another one quite a bit later as it moved west past the Moose Lodge. The last train is a laughably short CPKC led by two former KCS Gevos totaling 8,800 horsepower for a 6-car consist. And that's a wrap for 2025. It is quite an eventful year for Railfan for me, given that it's the first year that I've actually officially been a Railfan. I plan to upload a video on January 28th showing off the best catches I got from my first year of Railfanning. Additionally, I'm planning to go on my first Railfanning expedition of 2026 in a few days here, so keep an eye out for that video. But for now, that's all I have to say, and until next time, goodbye.